my name is Tim. I'm VP of Product at AppMagic, and today I want to talk about how to find promising mobile game niches and how to tackle them. My talk will take roughly 95 minutes, and the rest will be 4 questions and answers. And I will try to come up with as much actionable insights as I can. So the best result for me of this talk will be for you to have some real things that you can implement in your work. This will be the ideal scenario. So, as I've already said, my name is Tan, and I know a thing or two about analysis because I've been in an industry for quite a while. I worked with games, with apps, with services, and everywhere I use data-driven approach, and I've done a lot of research. I also have been teaching for the last 10 years, and this is one of the things I've been teaching as well. So basically, in a nutshell, I know what I'm talking about. About AppMagic, we are a leading analytical company of providing mobile insights and things you can know about the industry. So say competitor analysis, say deep categorization systems, say main product metrics of your competitors, knowing the live ops and updates of the industry, all of these and much more can be found in our product. And of course, we do a lot of research ourselves. So that's our bread and butter, basically. All right, buckle up and let's go for some insights. When developing a new game, there are several popular approaches. Of course, they are not all of them, but I'm sure you can recognize yourself in some of these patterns. The first one is code name everyone loves games A, so I'm gonna make a better version of it. Say, everyone loves Heroes of Might and Magic 3, or everyone loves Civilization series, and I know how to make a better version on mobile. Approach 2, I have a genius breakthrough idea. Say, I know how to port Warcraft to mobile, or I want to make a game about I don't know, dinosaurs eating pies and kittens, you name it. So it's gonna be so good, I believe in it so much. And the third approach, there is a new hit on the horizon, and I will copy this game everyone's crazy about. I will get some part of this pile. Of course, I will not be as successful as the original game, but still, the revenue is pretty sexy. So, let's try to combine the first two approaches in one bucket that is called I have an idea. Because basically, it is what it is. We either have an idea of improving an already existing game or a breakthrough idea for a new one. Teams of any experience use this. So both experienced teams and newbies in the industry, they're all about it. Usually that means that for us as a team, as a company, we are really focused on one idea. So focused that we don't see anything else. We are enchanted, passionate about it. In some cases, there is proper market research that is done beforehand, but even if there is a graveyard of products that were not successful and that they were trying to implement the same idea, the only thing we will see is they did it wrong, we will do it right. We've heard a lot of these statements, right? Really a lot. But ironically, the real hits are born this way. So like breakthrough products, breakthrough games are born through this way. But this is the highest risk, highest reward approach. Say, based on the casual market, last year, only 0.27% of all casual games reached some financial success. That's not a lot, as you can see, and we want to increase these chances. So what can we do? Well, there is a second approach. There is a new hit, say Archero, say Survivor.io, say Random Dice, or Roll Clash, you name it. And we can see that it's going big. This game seems to be easy to copy. That's important because in some cases it's not as easy to copy as it seems, but still. And we know how to take this game to the next level, say, target another audience, make better marketing, maybe have some additional gameplay improvements. In this case, say, the success rate for Survivor.io clones last year was much better, like almost 10 times better, 2.5, looks better. But, well, of course, there is a trick here as well. So, if we look at the revenue, we can see that last October, almost a year ago, Survivor.io was earning a whopping $40 million. That's a lot. Everyone in the industry were looking at them and saying, all right, maybe we should do a game like that as well and try to get a piece of this pie. What happened next? Two things. First, the revenue decreased, like 2 times or even more. We can see it. And for Survivor Radio, it was all right. They went on a plateau and they still got their revenue. But for the tail games that were earning not as much, they just vanished in eternity. Second thing, by the way, ironically, the same thing happened to Archero back in the days, by the same company, Heavy. Like, the same graph, absolutely. The second thing, more than 500 copies of the game were released during this year. So all the companies, they were looking at this big graph and saying, all right, here we go, this is our chance. Well, not really. Moreover, in total, during this year, they've earned almost $40 million. The same number the original game earned in October. So this approach is more successful than the first one, but there are still some pitfalls we have to consider. All right, but what can be done even more? How we can secure our possible success? Well, there is a third way, and we call it targeting high success rate genres. So basically it means we try to go for genres that apply a set of criteria. First of all, they should be profitable. So there should be a growing revenue trend year over year. Secondly, they should be accessible. So they shouldn't require unique expertise, giant budgets, or some USPs that we don't have. Third, they should be competitive. There shouldn't be any status quo in the tops. So basically it means that there should be new titles appearing on the horizon that make it to the top grossing. And last but not least, they should be safe. And safe means they have high risk to success ratio. And how to calculate this number and how to operate with this number, I will tell you just in a couple of minutes. But what if we use this approach? So what are our chances? Well, actually, they are even more. They can be up to 6, 7, sometimes 8%, which looks much better than the initial 0.23. So this is a case of Love and Pies games, and in general games with merged to order mechanics. And this market was really growing during the last couple of years. Whoa, alright, then what's next? Actually, we don't have a magic fix, unfortunately, even though we're called AppMagic. But there are a few tips and tricks that can be implemented in your work that can increase the possible success rate. And I'm talking about 3 big areas here. I'm talking about picking the right genre, I'm talking about deconstructing the chosen niche, and I'm talking about monitoring the market. And I will go deeper in each and every one of them. So, first of all, genres. Basically, there are a set of questions we have to ask. Do we have the expertise needed in this genre? Do we have enough resources to enter? And it's really important that we have both of these things, because one without the other, usually it's useless. And then, what kind of success potential does this niche have? So, in other words, is it growing? Is it stagnating? Or is it shrinking? So, say, practical example. We want to develop a new game. There are several genres we're choosing from. Blast, or Match 2, Merge, Hidden Objects, Clicker/Idle, and Match 3 Tile. Looking just at the revenue numbers for the last 2 years, we can see there are 2 leaders. There are Blast or Match 2 games and Merge games. Here they are, looking pretty good. Maybe we should develop a game there. But going deeper, looking at the market, well, first of all, we can see right away that Match 2 was actually shrinking all this time. It is still looking pretty good, but I'm not sure this is the niche we want to go for. On contrary, Merge was growing. Match 3 was growing like crazy. Clicker/Idle was doing pretty good since the summer of this year. So if we look at the exact numbers, we can see that Merge, Clicker, and Match 3 Tile were growing. But there is also another thing to consider, and this is the overall size of the market. Because for the Match 3, the market is too niche right now, maybe. Yes, it was growing a lot, but compared to the initial small size. So for us, we're looking for the sweet spot between the good year-over-year growth and good market size. And in this example, it should be Merge. So, see, we're looking for that. Now, the good idea here is to go even deeper. And there is where good categorization system really shines. So you want not just to compare apple to oranges, but know who your possible exact competitors are. That's why, for example, at AppMagic, we've got a dedicated team of professionals who deconstruct and tag new games coming to the store each day. Like literally manually comparing them in order to have the deepest categorization system possible. And this really helps to dig into the genres niches. It really helps to know the market's actual size. It's really important to discard the niches with higher production cost that we can afford. And also, we can check out the genre's success rate. So if we would have gone even deeper and look at these markets, we will see that merge to with orders is the fastest growing and the most interesting niche for us. Now, step 2. We've chosen the niche, we want to dissect it. Basically, we want to deconstruct the target genre and the game. The questions we should be asking: were there successful releases last year? What were those projects? How can their success be explained? And what findings should we use? What was done wrong and what was done right? But then again, looking at the whole merge to orders matter market, we can see 2 new leaders there. So Travel Town with the turtle and the Gossip Harbor with the lady in the witch hat. Both of them, the red and the yellow, ended up pretty good by the end of the year. Moreover, comparing to Merge Mansion, so here on the graph, you're probably looking at the big blue line. This is Merge Mansion, you totally know about it. Pedro Pascal, lots of advertising, but if we look at the numbers, Travel Town and Gossip Harbor can be compared to it. So we are not talking about like 10 times more or 20 times more. It is comparable. Moreover, these games made it to the top during the last couple of years. There is no status quo, no dominance. And this is the picture you don't want to see. So when we analyze the niches, and when there are no new titles on the graph whatsoever, it basically means that this niche is not accessible for us. It requires really big budgets, really big genres. And it doesn't really mean there were no attempts. No. During the last couple of years, there were thousands, literally thousands of Match 3 games that were trying to be released. If we look at the downloads graph, we can see the attempts themselves. So say this and this game with the almost identical icon, which is ironic, they were trying to scale. We can see the teal and the purple places. But they didn't succeed and they vanished in eternity. So, another thing that is really useful to pay attention to, not just downloads and revenue, but also RPD, which actually aligns really good with LTV. It helps to understand the niche benchmarks, say in our case, Merge Mansion, the blue line. This is something we're looking at and we're aiming at. But also it helps to understand player-based lifetime and monetization refs. So say, once again, Gossip Harbor, the yellow line, is growing much faster, we can see it. But even though Seaside Escape, the third game, it is growing even faster than that. So during this year, it not just became on par with Merge Mansion, but surpassed it. So when we are thinking about monetization practices, these are the games we want to look at. Alright, we have our niche. We have deconstructed some of the games. Now let's talk about hit rate. So checking out the success rate of the games. The absence of the charts, and I've already told about it, doesn't really indicate a lack of attempts. It's important to know who have tried, how, and why they have failed, or succeeded. In our case, for example, in the tool called Advanced Search, I can have a pretty intricate set of criteria to help me find the exact games based on these criteria. Here I want to find all new releases during the last year that has earned more than $1 million in Tier 1 West, so in the focus niche for us, focus market. We can see on the top there is Chrome Valley Customs, well yeah, the new Match 3 star focusing on the male audience. We can see Isekai Slow Life. A really interesting example is a Eastern Idol Tycoon that is going really strong both in Eastern and Western market. And we can see Smith & Master is an idle RPG that seems to be pretty easy to copy, so we're also looking at that. But if we're talking about analysis of success rate, there are two approaches. We either can gather the numbers about each and every market, each and every niche, and taken from that, we can try to calculate it. Or we can use a tool. So that's a tool we've developed inside. And it basically helps to understand how much new apps, revenue downloads, and what was the success criteria for each and every app. Of course, the benchmarks can be based on your approach. So it can be, for example, earning $100 a month or $1 million a month, because for different niches, it will be different. And here we can see right away that Merge with Meta has a much better success rate than all the other genres. Moreover, we can go deeper and check the success rate for each sub-niche in order to choose the best one possible. Of course, you also want to analyze the competitors' marketing. Don't forget about it. When developing a game, you already want to know what is working. What type of game mechanics attract new users? What type of networks do they use? And this can be done with our tool as well. What's next? Well, this is a good question. So we've developed the game. It's already shipped. Should we stop with the analyzing and research? Actually, no. And this is the best time to make double efforts in this direction. Why so? Well, first of all, you can analyze the market to spot promising ideas. So the hidden gems and the new stars rising up, you can spot them pretty quickly and understand, okay, so what are the features I should implement? What are the approaches I should implement and take from these successful games? Secondly, especially when we're talking a long-lived successful product like 5 years, 10 years to run, say, like Supercell. We want to know what is going on with live ops and updates of your competitors. What is going on in your niche? How do they approach live ops? What are the main tags? What are the implementations? And how they affect the metrics? And you want to know not just your genre, but also what is happening in the subsequent niches as well. Also, in some cases, it might be useful not just to work with your direct competitors, but also with your non-obvious competitors, because in some cases you might want to see what apps and what games are used by the same target audience as yours. It can be really useful for inspiration and for understanding how you can implement UX and UI decisions for different features you were really stuck with. Alright, so wrapping up, if there are 3 things you can take from today's talk, I want them to be these. First of all, do your homework. Don't forget to do proper market research to know what's going on in the market. Don't forget it, please. Secondly, keep in mind risk to success ratio. So, as well as development cost, know what type of game can you develop and why it will be successful. Be sure about it. And last but not least, use data. Use data-driven approach. Find insights, research big and wide, as well as deep and detailed. Make competitor analysis. Know the success rate. Know how your competitors operate their games. And in the end of the day, all in all, it can really help you to gain success. Thanks for your attention today. I hope it was insightful, and I will be happy to answer any of your questions if there are any.
Does anyone have a question? Oh, hello? Can we get the volume on this? Okay.
Yeah. We can change.
Oh, is it? Is that better?
Yeah.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. I'm not sure it can be considered a niche, but so we're making interactive smartphone novels, which are heavy on text content, which means that their language, the language is key. So how about, is it a niche if we take a successful game and we adapt it to a new language market? I somehow see almost no analytical data on this, on which language niches are, growing, more profitable, and I'm struggling to understand how this is working.
That's a good one. Alright, so I'll answer in 2 parts. First part, you can try to look at the distribution in different markets. Say, if you know there is a good game that works well on the Western market, and you want to adapt it to Eastern markets, especially text-heavy based games. You can look first at what is going on in this exact niche in Eastern markets. So, are there any trends? Are they different from the Western countries? What is the reason for what is the reason if there are no games of this genre whatsoever? What is the reason of them not to appear? Maybe there were attempts and they were not successful. So I'd say this is like step one. Step two is trying to, so with advanced search, you can go even deeper. So you can look up, all right, so what is the exact setting? What is the exact style, type, gameplay feature of my game that I want to compare to others? It's sometimes useful in order to see what were the attempts on the market, because, for example, there might be attempts a year ago, 2 years ago, they will not be visible on the market itself, the share will be minor, but you will know why they failed, and this might be crucial for you to succeed.
Any more questions? Anyone else? No.
Hi, can you give us a few examples of games that you helped launch and you were kind of a wizard for the guys?
Well, there are a few. Some of them I can't really talk about because we did a really deep in-house deconstruction and research. Say, during the last few months, we worked with Zeptolab and with AppQuantum, and we helped the guys, and they're using the strategies and the insights we came up with in their games. There was a game, pretty successful one, that implemented the PvP mode for Match 3 games, and it was really a new approach on the market, and they came to us at some point and said, all right guys, so we haven't seen examples like that, why so? Is it safe to go there? We worked together and they ended up with this bet, and they tried to secure it as much as they could, and they ended up with success, even though it was pretty risky, I might say. So based on our analysis, the chances were now like 100% you will hit the spot. But all in all, it was pretty good. I'd say in a lot of cases, we really shine when we're talking not about having the success and growing more numbers, but having the right decisions made. So basically you can save a lot of money and not make wrong decisions based on the data, which is sometimes a little bit difficult to evaluate, but if you do this mistake, you will feel it.
Any more questions? Yes.
Hey, so thank you a lot for the presentation, super insightful. I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit on what goes into the success rate formula, because I cannot shake the feeling that there's some sort of selection bias there somehow, right? If you are calculating the success rate for a big market, the denominator for that proportion is just higher, so the number must be smaller. So are you controlling for this, or am I just skeptical?
Yeah, that's a great question. So first of all, we're talking about the games and the apps that are like, this is not games or apps your little brother made and got to Roblox. So we've got benchmarks. That is, we do not work and we do not evaluate like trash games because it doesn't really make sense. Secondly, we try to make sub-niches and sub-genres have the success criteria as well. And it really helps in situations when you have a very not evenly distributed market. And then you can just dissect and take away the sub-niches that affect the whole picture and concentrate on this precise thing. And what really helps here is having the categorization system deep enough, because if you just go, say, for puzzles, okay, for puzzles, the success criteria is, 1.5%. But what is going deeper? There might be niches that have a bigger success criteria, almost up to 4 or 5%, and niches with much less success criteria. So you want to go deeper when you already decided on, okay, so high level, this is the genre I'm looking at, this is probably what I'm going for, but what is the exact market I'm looking at? And, well, this really helps.
Any more questions?
Yeah. In the foreground.
Hi, thanks for the talk. So I was wondering if you perhaps have some insights on how to act when being on the other side of this situation. So when you release a product making up a niche, and then some competitors release other products which are clones, which can produce content much faster. So I was wondering, do you have any suggestion on where to look to what to implement, to how to change the product.
Oh boy, that's a good one. All right, so here I think the most important thing what was in the last slides I was showing. So when you're a trendsetter, when you make a genre of your own, and by the way, the example I had, the Merge Mansion, Gossip Harbor, and Seaside Escape, both games, Seaside Escape and Merge Harbor, they were clones, and they surpassed the original games, which is surprising, but it happened. So what you can make, first of all, you should look out for these games coming up and for the clones that really work, because say several hundreds, they could be unsuccessful, and then there is one that is growing really big. So you want to track them in the exact time, and for that we've got the top growing and top decreasing trends. We can see which games are growing really, really big and really fast. And we've got the soft launches. So say if a big company decides to go in this niche with their budgets, with their marketing shares, you can see it in advance and make your decisions based on it. That's first. And second, I'd say that in the long run, it's the question of retention, of working with the players and increasing LTV. And then it's the question of live ops and operating. So it's really important to see, all right, so this is a new kid on the block, a new successful game. How do they operate there? Live ops, how do they operate their updates? What are the features there? And for that, we've got the live ops and update calendar. It really helps with understanding the whole current market situation of operating the games, not just launching, but working with them day by day.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. Where we go
Another one.
Another one. What are the biggest mistakes you see publishers doing when reading data?
Well, I'd say that one of the biggest, and it's so surprising, they fall in love with their ideas. So that's like the first example I had. I'm really passionate about something, I really believe in it. And in the end of the day, it means that for the majority of the cases, the games do not succeed. I recently had a talk with a guy with a producer from Triple Dot Games, and he was saying, I have a very good career. I was in the business for more than 10 years. I haven't shipped one game. So I haven't shipped any games because most of the games I tried to make, they were not successful or they ended up becoming another game. So basically, but at the same time, my career progressed during this time, and I'm a good specialist. So I'd say one of the biggest mistakes is believing in your idea too much without having a proper market research. So even if you do believe, and that's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but just know what you're doing. Be sure with the data, because it's always more useful.
Okay, I think we are done. Thank you. Brilliant. Thank you, Stan, for a very